Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about when the wedding inquiry comes in, the first things you should do to reach out to them is stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So if you're here for the first time, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell, I appreciate that. But today we're going to get right into it. Today we're going to talk about getting that wedding inquiry and what to do when potential clients reach out to you. So the biggest thing I can say that has been very helpful to me is quick responses. First and foremost, be very quick at your replies. And I always tell people when you are my clients, if ever I don't get back to you, it's just because I'm with a client. So if for some reason I don't ever get back to you quickly, it's only because I'm with the client. So I always tell people, just keep that in mind, remember that, pay attention to that, and give me a little bit of grace when it comes to that. But people reaching out to you the first time, and it takes you 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, even a day, to get back to them with just a simple email or text, I feel like it's very unprofessional. Now, there is some things that come along in life that hinder that, and I get that. When you're on vacation, you have no internet package, there's a delay in that, so there's reasons for that. But other than just taking a quick, hey, I got your email, I'm with a client right now, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. First thing it does is it shows you're in demand. Second thing, it knows that you're busy. Third is you're considerate of not taking your time talking to this person when you're trying to work in front of this person. So don't be that guy or girl. All right, so the next thing is when the wedding inquiry comes in, whether it's through my booking process, through my Focal website, and or through 80% of the way I get work is word of mouth. My website, Google searches, SEO, things like that are very helpful also. But however the wedding inquiry comes in, that's what I want to talk about right now. So when I get the email or the text, however it's going to be, I always ask, the first thing is, can you do me a favor? Can you fill out the questionnaire? So the first thing I say is, hey, thank you for reaching out to me. I appreciate your time and your patience. Can I have your, if it's a text, I send them back my POPL information for them to add me to their contacts. Now, why do I want them to add me to their contacts? Because I don't want them to be like a random number where they're looking at it and not know which photographer that they're talking to or which DJ that they're talking to. I want them to know that they're talking to Ron Lemelin Photography, and not like if they're reaching out to 4 different people, how do they know which one you are and which packages belong with you and or which website belongs to you? So add me to the contacts, just so that it's helpful with narrowing me down with who I am. All right, so the next thing is, once I get that, they get an email from me. So via text or email, however they reached out, I get their email address, I send them an email. I say, hey, congratulations on your engagement. Can you please do me a favor? In order for me to send you back package pricing, I need to know exactly what your date is, where it's going to be, what town, what state, is it at a church first, how much travel in between, but not overwhelming with too many questions, but just enough for me to gather enough information, because my Connecticut prices are not the same as my Massachusetts prices. I'm going to Virginia next year, so there's a lot of things, Cape Cod, Rhode Island, Florida, so everybody just, it's just a different, I don't have one package for cookie cutter across the board. I customize according to how far I have to travel and things like that. That's the first one. Once I get the questionnaire, I know exactly it's going to be Massachusetts. I know exactly what time it is, what the venue is going to be, and things like that. Then at that time is the only time that I ask for a phone call. People are busy. A lot of times a bride can be reaching out to you in between her break from, client to client, or if whatever she's doing. So sometimes if you call them right away, it could be like, wow, that a little bit pushy. I send a text, just reply when you can. I send an email, just reply when you can. So that's very important to me to be able to get them on a phone call. So I like to get them on a phone call when I get the questionnaire. So I can talk to them about, oh my God, where did you guys meet? We go through the list, and I'm making notes on the paper when I'm talking to them on the phone. If they say, I really don't have time to talk on the phone right now, I will send back package pricing based on their information. Then The next text after that, hey, I just sent you my package pricing. Look it over with your fiance. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I would love to talk to you or even meet in person. So at that time, I'm like, hey, reply back to me, call me, or let's meet in person. If you like my prices, then let's meet in person so you get a feel, you get into my studio. If you are not meeting in person, get a phone call, because sometimes the fiance wants to be involved in the conversation because it's like, wow, are we getting this and are we getting this? And once they get a feel for the process, then it makes it helpful and beneficial for them at the same time. Once I can get them on the phone, I'm pretty good at keeping people in the vein of what they want to do. I'm asking a lot of questions on why did they pick the season? Why did they pick the venue? Why did they pick, who they already have for vendors so I can see who's already lined up in their day. And once they get the package pricing, it's one of two things. You're either in because your packages are right where their budget needs to be, or they like your work enough that they're going to go up on their budget a little bit, or if you're nowhere near their budget, they're going to be like, nope, thank you, we're good. We only have $1,000 budget. No problem. Thank you for reaching out. And that's it. Be kind and courteous. So then I wait 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours. I will reach out in about a day, day and a half with a simple text. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. This is Ron Lemelin Photography again. I sent you the packages 2 days ago. I was just wondering if any questions came up between you and your fiance. I'd love to chat with you guys on the phone. Simple little question mark. Let it go. After that, I'll wait another week. So if I don't get any replies, which happens a lot, it's very frustrating to be ghosted. It's very frustrating. That's all I can say. So you don't want to be a pest, but you need to know if they're still looking for a photographer or not. So a week goes by. I'll send another text or an email saying, hey, I sent you the packages a week and a half ago. I was just checking in to see if you guys had any questions. I know everybody's busy, but I would just like to know if you're still looking for a photographer or not. And then I will write yes or no. Or I'll put, are you still looking for a photographer, comma, question mark, yes or no. That way that invites them to reply. If they write back and say, no, we're all set, conversation ends. Thank you very much for your time. If they don't reply, then you're still waiting. If they do reply yes and say, oh my God, we just had a death in the family, or we work third shift and he works second shift, so we're not with each other, so I haven't had a chance to talk to him, at least you could say, oh my God, yeah, I understand that. And then say, okay, when there's a time where the two of you guys are together, can we get a phone call? And do I still have a chance to be part of your special day? And or if they say, no, we looked at your pricing and you're too expensive, then you know. So be patient with them on the other side and try to convey your words very carefully, that you're not abrupt. Like, hey, you need a photographer? Just give me a heads up. Or you want to be very careful with your words, always asking a question, which will always lead to a reply. If you just say, hey, how are you? Did you get my wedding packages? There's no urgency to them replying. If you're like, hey, I've got other people, and this happened to me once before, and I wasn't even going to talk about it, but I'm going to mention it because it happened. I do not pretend to get another inquiry for the same date of the person that I'm already talking to. I tell them ahead of time after they get that, hey, by the way, I can hold your date for 2 weeks. Just let me know either way before then. I do not ever, I had to one time saying, it was 3 weeks that went by, a bride reached out to me and said, hey, I'm looking for this date. And I said, I didn't reply back to it. I said, thank you for contacting me. I'll be right with you. I text the other person saying, hey, I have somebody else asking about your wedding date. I haven't heard from you. Are you still looking for a wedding photographer or not? Yes or no. I got a text back 5 minutes later that they didn't like how pushy I was being, and they felt like that was very unprofessional. And I'm saying to myself, you didn't reply in 3 weeks. Now you're offended because I reached out to you saying, hey, it's been 3 weeks. I'm being courteous to you. If you need me still, great. I won't even talk to this person yet. If you're all set with a photographer, just let me know so I can reach out to somebody and open it up to somebody else. So it was a truthful thing. I did not make it up to do like a marketing ploy saying, hey, if you put pressure on people, it'll cause them. I don't do that. It was a legit, question to them. They got offended. No problem. No problem. I apologized. I said, okay, sorry for very much time. I opened up the other one to the other person. Within 48 hours, they booked the date. So everything happens for a reason, and everything doesn't happen for a reason. A week later, I'll send an email or a text. Hey, you still looking for a wedding photographer? After that, I wait a week, and then I'll reach out again. When 2 weeks go by, this is where, in a very, very nice email, I'll send a text and say, hey, do me a favor, check your email. I use 17 hats. I can tell when somebody opens up my email. It says read or not read, okay? I will send them back an email after 2.5 weeks and say, hey, I know everybody's busy. If you're not looking for a photographer, just let me know, reply back yes or no. I have somebody else asking about your date. So I can only, and it's just underlined, not bold, not like, in your face, but just enough to emphasize the point there. I can only hold your date for another 48 hours. If I don't hear anything back from you, I do have to open it up to other potential clients. I apologize for the inconvenience and just leave it at that. A day later, I can see they opened up the email. 2 days later, there's no reply. What I do is I can delete the project in 17 hats. When I create the project, it goes into my calendar, my Gmail account. So it goes into my calendar, and I always put in the beginning with a question mark and wedding. So in my calendar, it says question mark, wedding, so-and-so, okay? With that, when they book with me, I go back into my project, I take the question mark out, I put an asterisk in there, and then that tells me that they are booked. If it's a question mark, I'm still waiting for a reply. So I don't overbook myself, double book myself, or sometimes it's been 3 weeks and I forgot to reach out to them. But so that's how I do my calendar part of it. So going back to 17 hats, I do not delete the project. I keep them in there as a client. I keep them in there as what's called a hot lead, cold lead, or a client. So I keep them in there as a hot lead, but I don't delete the project because I want to keep all the same information inside of there. I just click archive project so they don't get any more emails from me, and I know it's a dead lead, okay? If they were like, oh my God, Ron, my mother passed away. We were just dealing with a lot of family things. We so apologize. We still want you to be our photographer. If I went back and deleted that project, all the information I sent them, the questionnaire, the emails, the responses, the quote that I gave them, the package pricing, everything could have been gone and deleted. So I archived them so I still save it. And it just saves me from having to say, oh, it was 6 months ago, my prices went up. I will honor something 6 months ago, and I'll just say, hey, here's my pricing. If it's the same pricing, they're still good. If you went up $500 on your pricing for whatever reason, and it's 6 months later, you are well justified with going up on your prices. Death in the family, something came up, whatever. I always kind of go back and just say, you know what, here's my original price to you. If you still want to do it, let's do it, book it. Then I always go back into my calendar and I will take that, if there's a question mark in there on the date or if there's an asterisk in there and an asterisk, I know that I've got my deposit and that date is booked. If there's a question mark, that means I'm still pending to hear back from them. I'm a little bit old school, so I print up every questionnaire and every lead. I put it together and I fold it in half and I put it in my little letter sheet that I have over here. Every 3 or 4 weeks, once a month, I'll pull that out, put it down in front of me. Oh, that's right. It's been 4 weeks. I haven't heard from them. I will send one more courtesy text. Hey, haven't heard from you. Or if I'll go back to the text and I realize that they already said no and I didn't throw the paper away, I throw the paper away. Done, gone. But I'll go back in there and sometimes if I did 10 of them, sometimes I'll look and somebody, did reply back to me, so I should have threw the paper away. Sometimes they didn't reply back to me, so I just kind of like one more little time, like if nobody else is asking, maybe there's just a shot that something came up with life and I'll reach out one more time. 24 hours later, that paper's done and gone. They come out of the calendar. They stay in my 17 hats as an archived client. They're archived, so they're not going to get any questions from me. So that is my process when it comes to approaching a potential lead that comes into your either text or email box. That's the process. Text, email right away, very, very quick responses and all the way forward. So thank everyone for coming back to the channel to listen to this again. So whether you're listening to the YouTube channel or the podcast, I appreciate appreciate that. Hit that like down below and that bell for notifications. And always remember to subscribe to the channels that you're watching, because it really does help the smaller channels get a little bit of traction with the algorithm and things like that. So thank you guys very much, and looking forward to doing another wedding tip coming up next week. And if you're not following me on social media, all my information is down below. I do a wedding tip Wednesday every Wednesday on my social media. So if you're a potential bride and you're looking for tips on how to plan your day, look for that also. But other than that, remember to smile more, because it sure does hurt less. Peace.